So it's the middle of the night. We are in the wilderness. There's bears. I think another factor.
Supposedly.
There are bears. Another factor that played into my paranoia here was the fact that I think I accidentally left some granola bars or something in
You
my
did. You
tent.
had a Cliff Bar.
And I was like, and this is after, of course, we've gone through all the trouble to hang this bear pack up. You're not pulling that down to put a granola bar. I'm like, I'll be fine. So to sleep we go. In the middle of the night, I get woken up, and I hear something like, I guess incrementally closer and closer, like circling my tent or near it, and it was grunting. It was like this. Like that, and it just incrementally going this way, like, what's the word?
I don't know. It's getting closer. That's right.
Yeah, it's getting closer, like, prowling, like just zigzagging back and forth.
It had a whiff of his Cliff Bar.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
I was like, man, that smells good.
Yeah.
If I don't get that, maybe I'll eat the guy. And
A win-win situation.
win-win for the bear. So I'm like, that is and it was obviously, it was a deep, grunt. It was a larger animal. And I was like, I was running through in my head, like one of those old what are they, Rolodex?
Yeah,
like,
he's just...
of a list of animals that could populate this neck of the woods. And I was coming up blank with anything other than a bear. Like, this is a bear, and it's circling and getting closer. And finally I'm like, I can lay here in the tent and get pounced on, or I can get up and fight like a man. Granted, a paranoid man.
Fight like a man. Or a
Who was
third
scared to
option,
death.
I can go get Judah and push him into the bear and run.
So I went with that plan C, whatever that is. So I was like, I got out of the tent, and I had my headlamp, which is, pretty powerful. I could see pretty good. We were in the woods, but on the periphery of the woods, there was almost like a meadow, is how I would describe it. And that's where the sound was coming from. Like, it was high brush, easily conceal a bear, whatever it was. And it was, I don't know, maybe 20 feet away, but getting closer every now and then, grunting. So finally, I couldn't see it. So finally, I'm like, okay, my next thought is safety in numbers. So let's go get Judah,
Yeah.
who's about 100 feet away.
As far it was more so like I had a premonition. That's why I was so far away. I was like, this retard's going to keep that Cliff Bar. I'm going to be as far away as possible. So should I take over, I guess?
Yeah, this? So now I get right up to your tent.
Yeah.
Like, Judah.
Yeah,
Judah.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you awake?
Yeah.
In a very deadpan, yeah, I am now.
Yeah, and so he's, his flashlight is like going through my tent, and I'm being blinded in there. And
well, I had to make sure you weren't the bear.
Yeah,
at this point, the bear killed and ate you.
Exactly. It
You
could have been a trick.
Sleeping,
the whole
taking a nap after eating you.
Yeah.
In your tent.
So he explained that whole story he gave you. He gave me a very shortened version of that, and I'm still laying in my tent, and I'm just kind of thinking, yeah. So
I think you literally said yeah. So
it's possible, and I'm just in my head. I'm like thinking, what the hell do you want me to do about that?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go wrestle this bear. I'm just like, go back in your tent, zip it up, and shut up. Okay, it'll go away.
Sure. Or kill you.
Yeah. We'll find out in the morning. That's, what I was thinking. I know this sounds like a real jerk thing, but I literally was like, what does he want me to do against this bear? I don't know. I don't have bear spray. I have no,
No weapons.
Yeah, I'm like, hang on, I'll take care of this for you. And I'm really just like, he's going through the Rolodex of what could the sound be. I'm like going through the Rolodex of what the hell does he want me to do about it? And then I'm like, because I'm like, there's no way he wants me to get up and try to do something about this bear. So I'm like, is he freaking asking to get in my tent and sleep with me? And guys, I have
never crossed my mind.
See, I never shared that with him. My tent, when I say it's a one-person tent, it was a one-person tent. My backpack was like not even enough room for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, is this bear whistle about to turn into a rape whistle? I'm like, what's going on here?
Wow.
So I don't know how eventually.
Well, I think we passed up how I described it to you. I woke you up. You're like, what? What is it? And I said, I don't know, but it's grunting.
Yes, it's grunting.
Whatever it is, it's grunting.
So finally, when we got to the point where I understood that apparently he wanted me to come die with him.
Fight to the death.
I was like, okay, well, let me get my flashlight and put on my shoes. And I get out there.
Let's face this beast together.
And
then we were like looking for something that did resemble a weapon.
I
stick.
wasn't.
I tried to find like a really good club stick to bop it on the nose.
But at this point, I had gotten out there and I'm like, okay, I think I've fulfilled my duty as a friend at this point. And I'm just like, okay, so I didn't say these words, but I'm thinking, okay, so like, what's the plan? I'm like, what? And he's like, let's go look for it. And I'm thinking, what the F? I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we looking for an effing bear?
I don't see any other reasonable course of action than to go find the bear.
I'm like, stay away from the effing bear. Don't go look for the bear. And that's what he says to me, you know, safety in numbers. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, safety in numbers, so let's go look for a bear. In the middle of the night.
Two of us, there's one of him.
And my flashlight, compared to his flashlight, it was like shooting 40 feet. I thought my flashlight was pretty good, but then my flashlight's only like showing 10 feet in front of me.
You could barely see where you were going.
And then when he would turn his head, because they were headlamps, I would get terrified because it was like I could see 40 feet and then suddenly I could only see 10 feet. And I was like, oh my gosh,
surrounded by darkness.
The next time he turns, that bear's going to be like freaking right here. So
makes sense.
Then he's like, I think there's a trail that goes back behind the noise. And I am still just like, God, why?
I wanted to flank it.
Can't come from it on the backside.
He'll never expect that.
Yeah. The flashlights won't give us away at all in the middle of the night. I'm just like, good Lord, why are we doing this? But at this point, I guess I'm committed to die with him.
Yeah, we're in this now. There's no backing out.
I'm up already, I guess. If I leave him alone, is that murder at this point? So I'm like, I guess I better do this.
We are attacking this bear, and there's no turning back.
So we go, and we're looking, and he keeps telling me, can you hear it? I'm like pretty much deaf in this ear. I couldn't hear anything. And he's like, can't you hear it? It's grunting. And I can't hear anything. It's just this terror of not knowing. He keeps telling me there's something out here, and I'm just, there's no evidence to me whatsoever. I'll let you in the story.
So we get on this trail to flank the bear, and then finally you start to hear it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I hear something, and then finally, like, yeah, I heard that. And then we could hear it rustling through the bushes. It was getting closer, or we were getting closer to it, whatever. And then finally, we caught. It was moving a lot of bushes too. It's not like a raccoon or a squirrel. Like, it's more substantial. And then finally, we get to a clearing, and it breaks out of the bushes, and there it is in all its glory, a big porcupine.
Yeah.
Never in my wildest dreams, never anywhere in my Rolodex of animals, never, I got way past peas, never thought porcupine.
It was like porcupine, sea bear, okay?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, never would have thought porcupine. So apparently, this porcupine was circling, doing some kind of mating ritual, trying to attract a mate. Because it's grunting, it's circling, it's like doing kind of a dance, and we just interrupted it.
All they got was two old white dudes instead.
But now I have to wonder, looking back, and you know, hindsight, was he practicing his mating ritual, and then finally these two suckers come out of the bushes, and you know are attracted to him, and he's like, "There, it worked.
It works. It worked." I was pulled into this situation.
I've reached the apex of my attraction. Now to try this out on the ladies.
Yeah, it was like cross species. This is magic. I don't. Yeah. So after that excitement,
Let you go back to bed.
yeah, which I was terrified at that point, and it was like I mentioned, it's effing hot, and I had my tent like windows open. But I was so freaked out from this experience, I zipped everything up, and I was just like cooking in there. I was like dying because I had no ventilation whatsoever.
Well, I slept like a baby
Like,
after that.
exactly. Saw me a porcupine.
So-
Nothing left to do but go to
I
sleep.
think we made the right move.
Then we got up for the last day, and then at that point my knee was hurting, and he gave
Those
me
weakness sticks were looking pretty
He
good.
gave me his weakness sticks, and I used them to finish up the trail. There's some beautiful, beautiful spots that we found. A lot of nice little runoff coming down. It was I forgot to mention that at this point we had run out of water, so we had to decided, or we talked like, should we?
And we were miles from the end. Miles.
Yeah.
In 90-degree heat.
We were like,
No water.
I guess we're gonna have to filter river water and drink it. So we walked back to where we saw the butt cheeks. I'm getting in the water, and then I start to notice that there's like a bank. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a bank, and like the side that I get in, I start noticing is just filled with dead crawdads. It's just like
Great sign.
filled
Great
with
sign
dead
for the water you're about
crawdads.
to drink, because all the wildlife's dead
And
in it.
I mentioned it to Nathan. I'm like, man, there's a lot of dead crawdads, but I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, if you're an animal and you die, and if you're a water animal and you die,
Where you gonna
your
go?
body's in the water. I'm like, okay, so what? But I start to see the hesitation on Nathan's face, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, well, I don't know, man. There's like a lot of dead crawdads
Dead
here.
stuff here.
And I still just didn't, and he kind of, spelled it out for me. Grunting means porcupine, dead crawdads means poison water. But we ended up filling up our containers anyway, not by that, upstream from the dead crawdads.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
a little bit of
we
wisdom
moved a little bit upstream.
was used in there. So we get it. Now my cousin also, like I said, he loaned me everything for this trip other than my food, and he gave me a new water filter, and he was like, dude, this is like the best water filter. He's like, I use these on all my trips. He's like, we've done Manistee a lot, and we've used these. He's like, yeah, I bought a new one, take it. And I'm like, sweet. So we use it, and I actually still had like half a bottle of water, on river water left. And so we use it, we fill up our bottles, and we finish our trek the next day. And so, we gave each other a high five for making it and everything. And that last day when we were walking, we were kind of talking about how we felt about the trip. And I was like, dude, I hate this. And I remember saying, I hate this.
Yeah.
But I was like, but at the same time, there's something I really like about it, and I will probably do it again.
Yeah.
And then I did. I went to Yosemite and did a backpacking trip to Half Dome. So, and I trained way better for that. But it's so weird. I mean, did you have that same feeling about how you just hated it and you were just like, never?
I don't think I felt like I hated it in the moment. I think for me it was like once we get away, I never, gotten away from the roads and civilization that far, and so I had no reference point until that trip of the magic of being in the backcountry and away from everything, and then realizing like you're only going to get to this sweet spot with the effort. Like you can't compromise the process of the challenge and the difficulty of getting to that point, and then having that magic, trail magic or whatever you want to call it, where you're out and you just have the quiet and the beauty, and that's all there is. And realizing like you're not going to get that from car camping at your local park or whatever, like it is special, and it takes effort to get to it, and not everybody is fortunate enough to get to do that. Not everybody can hike that far or anything, so it's like taking advantage of that while we can.
We're gonna wrap this up with his ending story of what happened when we got back.
Yeah, so my main reward from when we got back was I got like a GI flu, stomach illness the next day from drinking the water.
So yeah, he got the poops, bad time. He has a job where he can't call off, and he had to call off. He had to call off because of how bad it was.
Bad.
Now then, funny, not so funny. A couple days later, my cousin calls me, and he was like, "Dude, I gotta apologize." He's like, "That filter I gave you," he's like, "I just got a message from eBay, and they said that they had shut down the person who was selling them because they were not the official brand of that filter. So they were like knockoff filters, and he did not know." And I was like, "Oh, dude," I was like, "My buddy," I was like, "he got the poops." And he felt so bad. And he's like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "Tell him I'm so sorry. I didn't know." So anyway, thanks, AJ.
Thanks, AJ, anyway.
So yeah, that was our trip. And so now we're at Okefenokee. And that's going to be our next video. So watch our next video when we talk about what you're seeing behind us right here. Thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, share, leave comments. What do we want to leave comments about? Have you ever had the poops and had to cancel work? That's a good one.
Hyphen, it's the most creative way that you've had to poop in the woods.
Yes, that's a good one. Have you ever thought you're going to be eaten by a bear and instead made your friend think that he was going to get raped by you?
How would you have handled that situation? Did you go quietly in the night?
I don't think you would have been quiet. I think I would have been woken up by you.
Would you get up like a man and fight?
Would you try to pull your friend into dying with you? Anyway, tell us your
friends
porcupine...
that die together stay together.
Yeah, inside the bear's stomach. Tell us your porcupine stories. Share your bear stories. Share your porcupine sex dance stories. We want to know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.